Hey, what's going on, guys? Today is the time to start revealing the brand new 4th skill trees for each Vault Hunter. Today, we're going to be covering Amara's brand new Enlightened Force skill tree. This skill tree focuses on melee and splash damage. This skill tree will turn Amara into a straight up wrecking ball. If you guys want to see some gameplay of the Phase Flare action skill in action, I posted a video today. That video will be linked in the description and the pinned comment. Be sure to check that out. Also, I just posted brand new gameplay and a skill breakdown of Flack's brand new skill tree today, the same as this one and the gameplay, so go check out Flack as well. And with that intro out of the way, let's go over this brand new beautiful purple skill tree. Now this video is not going to go super in-depth or super mathy, but I did do some testing and I can let you guys know what I think about the skills and the augments that I like using for Amara's brand new action skill. Now we're going to be breaking this all down right in order, so let's go ahead and just get started. So the first thing we ought to talk about is the brand new Phase Flare action skill. Now this is an interactive orb of energy that Amara can summon and control. So basically we summon that. We can use our action skill button to bring it towards us, and we can melee it to push it across the room. It doesn't look like the face puncher works. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Right now, if I'm being honest with you guys, it's a little bit buggy. Sometimes it can get stuck in the walls or the floors, so just be careful where you use it. I'm sure we will see some more patches or updates to it. Now this skill is very powerful. It can do a whole lot of damage. Let's go over the skill trees and we'll go over the action skill augments as well. So first up, when it comes to action skill augments, we have the action skill augment Glow Up. Now this turns Amara's ball of elemental damage into actually a support ball. So this will grant healing to, I believe, Amara and her allies. Also, if there is a downed enemy, you can press one of your keys. It looks like it's square on the PlayStation controller. Or V on the keyboard, and it will instantly revive the downed enemy. So this basically makes it a support tool. Then we have the shooting star. This makes it so that when you press the square button on the PlayStation controller or V on the keyboard, I don't know what the Xbox button is, I'm sorry, but it makes it so it flies directly towards an enemy and deals that impact damage to them. Also, it shoots crystals at enemies nearby and does damage that way too. And finally, we have the last action skill augment. This one is actually my favorite, and I believe this is the highest damaging one. However, I have not done in-depth testing, just some preliminary gameplay. It's called Light Fantastic. After Amara summons her orb of elemental energy, it deals constant elemental damage to nearby enemies, and whenever Amara damages an enemy, the elemental orb automatically travels to them. So the reason why I like this one so much is because that orb automatically travels to them. Another thing that this one grants is when you kill enemies, your orb does more damage. So you can basically send it out and then you can stack it up further and further and further. This is the one that I use in the gameplay video, and that's how we're doing so much damage to the Valkyries and Wotan. I've gotten it so that it can pretty much it kills Wotan almost instantly as long as there are mobs nearby to kill and stack the damage up. Basically, once you start getting kills with this, it ramps up super hard and super fast. Next, we have Expedite. Now, this is an actual augment, so this does not change the form of Amara's Phase Flare. This is just an augment. Whenever Amara kills an enemy with her action skill, she gains action skill cooldown rate until she activates her skill again. So this is just a pretty nice skill to get to keep things rolling, gives you action skill cooldown rate. What more could you ask for? Now, one thing I want to point out about Phase Flare in general is that this is an action skill active action skill. It's not a quick use action skill like Ties That Bind, like Phase Slam or Phase Cast. I guess Ties That Bind is also not a quick use action skill technically, but it kind of is. But this is you can use action skill active augments, you can use, or anointments, I mean, and stuff like that. This is not a quick use action skill, and I think that's very cool and very new for Amara. Now, with that being said and that out of the way, you guys can see more of this in the gameplay footage if you want to. Let's go over the skill tree. First up, we have the skill Trust in Yourself. Whenever an enemy breaks Amara's shield, she gains reload speed, charge speed, and weapon swap speed for a short time, and the effect is doubled if Amara's shield is broken by a melee attack. Now, all these perks are really great, but it's not necessarily a must-have for any build. Next, we have No Mistakes in Nature. Whenever Amara inflicts status effects on an enemy, she gains increased melee damage for a short time, and at 5 points, you can get up to 65% melee damage. Another thing worth mentioning is this skill does not stack At most, you will only ever get 65% melee damage. Next, we have Heavy Rain. Now, this skill is actually very cool. Not only does it give splash damage as a tier 1 skill, but it also gives projectile speed, which has very interesting interactions with weapons like the Plague Bearer, weapons like the Scourge, weapons like the Lump. This is a very cool skill. I mean, it gives 35% splash damage, and don't take that projectile speed lightly. I do think that's actually kind of important for how this skill works. It makes slow projectiles hit more often and more accurately because they're traveling a lot faster. So for example, even a weapon like the Cutsman, those beams are going to travel to your target a lot quicker. Next, we have Go With The Flow. Whenever Amara freezes an enemy, she gains increased movement speed and weapon damage for a short time. Now, it is worth mentioning that this requires Amara to freeze an enemy, and the action skill augment for this skill tree is Cryo. So that was something I probably should have mentioned earlier, but this is a Cryo skill tree, and it's very, very cool. Every time you freeze enemies, you will get bonus movement speed and gun damage, up to 21% gun damage and only 9% movement speed, but it's really that gun damage that is pretty cool. Next, we have Unweave the Rainbow. Now, this skill is very, very powerful. Amara deals bonus damage of her attuned element whenever she deals melee or splash damage to frozen enemies. Now, obviously, you have to freeze an enemy to get the skill to work, but it is very, very powerful. This is essentially action skill damage. So this can be buffed by the splash in the tier 1 skill, and it can be buffed with skills like Do Harm as well, because this is action skill damage. Next, we have the skill Ebb and Flow. Whenever Amara kills an enemy with a melee attack, she gains a portion of the damage dealt back as health. Now, at 3 out of 3, you get 63%, but if you are playing Mayhem 10, you will only ever need 1 point into this skill. And keep in mind, this is not melee lifesteal. This is melee kill lifesteal. So you actually have to kill an enemy with melee to get the life from this. And just so you guys know, this will be very cool with... Next, we have this amazing skill right here, Combo Breaker. Killing an enemy with melee damage has a chance to reset Amara's action skill cooldown. This is a 20% chance every time you get a melee kill that you get your action skill back immediately. This is huge for phase slam builds, any melee Amara build. And once again, with this skill tree as well, because phase flare actually has a decently long cooldown, and some of these augments as well, like it's 44 seconds on Light Fantastic, which is the one that I like to use. But this can help you get your action skill back quickly. And this is just an amazing skill to be this, not very far down the skill tree. This is a tier 3 skill. It's insane. Next, we have the skill Joyful Freedom. After activating her action skill, Amara gains increased melee damage for a short time. Now, this is pretty simple. Up to 70% melee damage at 5 out of 5 points. And it's after activating your action skill. Next, we have Burn Both Ends. Now, this skill is very, very cool and provides an interesting damage bonus. After activating her action skill, Amara gains increased threat for a short time, drawing the attention of all enemies in a huge radius. Whenever Amara is dealt damage by an enemy, she gains increased damage for a short time, and this effect stacks. Now, this is up to 5% damage at 5 out of 5 points, but it stacks up to 15 times. If you're somewhere like the Maliwan takedown or the Guardian takedown, you will almost always have full stacks as long as you are activating your action skill. And just so you guys know, I did not do in-depth testing on this skill, but it should be considered V1 or V2. Essentially, it should not be gun damage, at least I really hope it's not, and this should boost action skill damage, Nova damage, grenade damage, melee damage, all of the above. So this is a very, very powerful skill, and I really recommend taking this. Next, we have Body and Mind, which is a kill skill. Amara's melee attacks deal bonus splash damage for a short time. So after you kill an enemy, you get a flat splash bonus onto your melee attacks. So for every single hit of a melee, you get 2,925 bonus damage. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but just so you guys know, I did test, and this does get Mayhem scaling. It gets times 31 Mayhem scaling at Mayhem 10. So at Mayhem 10, I believe it's about 90,000 bonus damage, if I remember correctly, for every single melee hit. So just to show you guys, we have our Face Puncher right here. Let's go ahead and trigger our kill skills by killing this car. And let's go ahead and shoot the test dummy, and you guys can just see all the different instances of splash. So those are all splash damage for each different pellet. What's awesome about this is this. So look, there's the Face Puncher melee hit. There's all the different instances of splash. Now keep in mind that Sanctuary is Mayhem 0, and you can see it's doing 8k damage. And that's what I'm going to mention right now. This skill right here is action skill damage. You can boost this with action skill damage. I believe do harm, although I didn't technically test with do harm, but I did test with action skill damage on class mod, and I tested with another skill we're going to go over, which gives action skill damage. But this can also be boosted by splash. So I pretty much believe this is a very, very, very powerful skill. You know, it's just, it's looping melee, splash, action skill damage all in one. It's creating a lot of mayhem. Definitely take this skill in my opinion. Next, we have the skill Free the Soul. This is a kill skill. Whenever Amara kills a frozen enemy, splinters fly out from that enemy and home to nearby enemies, dealing cryo damage. This skill has a short cooldown. Now, you don't have to take this skill. This is one of those fun skills that can make enemies explode, and I do believe this gets mayhem scaling, but, you know, I don't necessarily recommend it. Finally, we have Atman. This is the last skill before the capstone, and this simply gives action skill damage. Now, keep in mind, this is additive with the action skill damage from your class mod, so they're just all considered the same thing. An Amara expert in the comments down below will have to let us know if do harm is additive with this. Like I said, this is the same as action skill damage on class mod. So you see this action skill damage bonus right here. That is what Atman adds. It adds literally just action skill damage. Finally, we get to this insane capstone called Clear the Mind. This is a kill skill. After killing an enemy, Amara ignores elemental damage resistances for a short time. This does not affect elemental immunity. Now, I'm just going to tell you guys something right now. It's not consistent, and I don't actually have a clip of it, but I was able to freeze Wotan the Invincible. This capstone allows you to freeze bosses, potentially. Now, I didn't get the clip of it when I was doing it, but you guys will see, and you guys can all call me an idiot in the comment section down below if no one's ever able to recreate this. I will try to get the clip out to you guys by the time the brand new skill trees come out, but this capstone is insane. So you guys all know, like, you know, you never use shock against flesh. You never use corrosive against flesh. This capstone ignores those penalties. So basically it takes away all of your damage penalties, and that is an insane DPS increase. If you really think about it, this is a must-have capstone, and what an amazing way to top off Amara's brand new skill tree, Enlightened Force. That is it for the coverage of Amara's brand new skill tree. If you want to see the new action skill and a build I came up with, and basically some fresh gameplay of Amara completing true Malawan takedown, go check out the pinned comment in the down below and the link in the description. Also, like I said, I did the same 2 videos for Flak, one skill tree breakdown and one gameplay reveal, and definitely check that out. Also in the description down below and the pinned comment. Anyways, guys, that is it from me. I was so excited to share this with you guys. I will actually be playing Amara more because I really love this skill tree. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. So don't forget to drop a like on the video if you liked it and subscribe to the channel for more Borderlands 3 videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.